we've been talking a lot about the police brutality. You've seen some of it in the sense of like hearing it through us. We spoke about it on the phone. You talked about being in an occupied state, but now, the LAPD, this is why I have a huge issue with the whole kneeling thing. Like, I think it's good if it's genuine, but if those same cops who are kneeling with people are going to go and turn around and then do the same shit they've been doing, we're not getting anywhere. So there was this LAPD officers actually shot a homeless man sitting on a chair doing absolutely nothing. And the paramedics, of course, tended to him, but they're not sure how he's doing. The LAPD refuses to comment on it. They're saying, that they were there, but they're not commenting on what exactly happened. And there's a photo of the man and his injury that is being reviewed by the department. Now, I know that because you live in LA, that this isn't anything new as far as abuse from the police on the homeless. They get their tents, which are their homes, completely ransacked by the police. They do street sweeps. They constantly get criminalized because they have nowhere to go. So they tell them go here and they go there, and then they tell them to move somewhere else. You can't sleep in your car. If you sleep in your car enough, you get a ticket. If you don't pay that ticket, you get your car towed. And so we're creating more people, more bodies, as they refer to us, more bodies that end up in prison, right? We're perpetuating the prison system, which is a for-profit business. And this is nothing new, Graham. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've seen the police constantly abuse homeless. But now with this whole protesting and the sort of looting, I think they're going to feel more entitled to do so.
That's what, I mean, we just saw it. It's that they have felt they got a green light to just beat the shit out of people this past week. I mean, they just did it. And it's in cities all over the country. And when you don't have civilian oversight and you give cops all this power, and they know, I mean, there is a 99% acquittal rate of cops that kill people. Not just black people, just anyone. Cops kill anybody. There's a 99% of them aren't even charged. And then they have a 99% acquittal rate when they are charged. And it's like, it took 6 days and 10,000 arrests for them to charge the other 3 officers that stood by and allowed George Floyd to get murdered, who participate. If you just stand and let your partner do that, you're guilty. It's like, well, not all cops are bad. I'm sorry. Maybe they all are. And you study the Stanford experiment, you give somebody power, they abuse it. And that's what we've given them. Unchecked, unbridled power. They're not going to get prosecuted. And the beautiful, diversity of stupid America. Well, hey, female cops have killed unarmed black people and gotten off. And Latino cops have killed unarmed, and black cops have killed black people and gotten off. Wow. What such progress in America. Now anyone of any ethnicity can be a cop and kill somebody, especially if they're black, and never even see a minute of jail time. And it's like, there were 1,100 deaths at the hands of police in America in 2019. Right? 99% of them got off or weren't even charged. And 49 cops died. So I'm sorry. It's just appalling. And
it's happening all over the country too. Like, I mean, this is not just the LAPD, which is notoriously, has that reputation. It's not just the NYPD. It's happening throughout the country because it's unchecked power, as you said. It's zero accountability. They've never had to take accountability. Just like Jeffrey Epstein was never held accountable to anything. He was able to do whatever he wanted. So he continued until he was stopped. And that's the thing. It did take all of this to arrest those other 3 officers, and it wouldn't have happened if people hadn't had the public outrage. I mean, there's countless of cases where people have still yet to be arrested. They just reopened Breonna Taylor's case, which shows something is happening, whether people want to dismiss this or not. Now, I just want to point out again, a 75-year-old man was pushed to the ground. He's in the hospital. This man is, this happened in Buffalo, New York. And this man, of course, reminds me of other people I know. He was you have a video? Okay.
Back up. Get off the steps. Let's go. Get back. Get back.
Better get an ambulance for him. We have EMT on scene.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting. They just completely walked all over him. And I just want to point out that this man was an actual activist. He was his name was Martin Guagino, and he was a community activist known for in his community for advocating social justice and helping those in need find affordable housing. He's described as someone who would give you the shirt off his back and the last time in his pocket for anyone in need. So there you go. There you go. That's and here's another thing I'm seeing, Graham, is one officer might push him, but everybody else does nothing. And that's what we're seeing, right? It's that meme where you're seeing the Democrat and the Republican. The Republican is putting his knee on you, but the Democrat is sitting there watching, not doing anything and covering for him. That's literally our country. That's our politicians. Mm-hmm. Those are our policemen then. So
of course. I mean, look, when we outspend the next 10 countries combined on military, it's the same thing on the local level. Like, on the federal level, how are we going to pay for Medicare for all and free college and everything like that? The same thing. How are we going to pay? How are we going to pay for homeless shelters, and how are we going to pay for better education in our cities? While we're spending, LA is spending $3 billion. It just upped its police budget, and the private prison industry profits from this. So they profit from locking people up. They look, putting primarily people of color behind bars is a profitable business. They make money off of this. So they need to continue to create criminals, and the whole system is nonsense. I mean, I did a video a couple months ago about the private prison industry in 1989 had a secret meeting with a bunch of record executives and said, we really want you to push gangster rap because it'll help the private prison industry, because it'll glamorize criminal behavior and it'll be great. And gee, what a weird coincidence. And then when crack gets funneled into the Black community by the CIA, Gary Webb uncovers this, and then he shoots himself in the head twice and they rule it a suicide. That's in the police report. He shot himself in the head. It was a suicide by shooting himself in the head twice. So this is how our society, we are a brutal right-wing fascist country. And we treat the world this way. So of course we're going to treat our own citizens this way.
I'm surprised no one has invaded us and tried to spread democracy. I'm very surprised.
I'm amazed. Because what we're doing deserves some democracy spreading. I mean, like if any other country, if this was happening in Russia, it would be like, we got to stop this, right? Like, this is what we're doing. Like, this is, and they're trying to blame everybody but the system. Right? It's Russia's doing it. Is this China? Is this Antifa? Is this Burn? Like, fuck off.
It's Bernie supporters. Yeah.
And real quick, I just want to show that these cops were kneeling the day before. On June 4th, they were kneeling, and then it was the same cops that were kneeling that pushed the 75.
The New York cop.
Yes.
Okay. See, Graham, I wanted to bring this up with you. I wanted to bring this up with you because Paz and I had a discussion the other day, because he did a whole segment on the positivity and all this, and how it's nice to see cops join the protests and all that. But my whole point of being suspect of it was like, a lot. It's kind of happened here where there was a cop that it was just really fake, and there was a CBS guy right in front of it.
Right.
It didn't seem genuine, and so I've been talking about like how if these same cops are gonna do the same thing right after they take a knee, then what the hell is this other than platitudes and symbolism that the Democratic Party shoves up in front of everyone?
Well, I mean, Yeah, obviously, and it's some cops trying to use just a tactic to get a crowd, like the Flint, that first video of that Flint cop. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's one of the good guys," and then Aaron Matei broke it down and was like, "No, it was a tactic."
Yeah.
Look, even if a bunch of cops take a knee genuinely, that's great, and it's a nice gesture, and it's a start. But look,
yeah,
that's great, and it's great. And look, had Santa Monica PD taken a knee on Sunday, there wouldn't have been any riots. Instead, they overreacted, and they didn't even protect the businesses. It's almost like they wanted the rioting and looting to happen so they could go see to justify the military. Look, we need, the whole system is broken.
Yeah,
all of our police departments, we can't, the way we train them, the way all of it, the way is the military selling them military grade equipment? Why is there even a for-profit prison industry? That needs to just end. Not regulate, done. No for-profit prisons. Fuck you. Get out of there. You're done. We need all of this. We need any prosecutor that won't prosecute cops. You're gone. You're gone. We need civilian oversight. We need again, if everyone had a job and good education, would we need this? Would we need this? Would we need any of this?
No, this wouldn't be happening. If people were comfortable, this wouldn't be happening at all. I 100% believe that. When I was taken in, they, Johnny and I mentioned how the zip ties were really tight, how they were rude. They kept telling us to face a wall. Well, Julia Dupuy, I think that's French, she said she was arrested on June 2nd, 2020, with around 100 other protesters in Los Angeles. She said, while I was zip-tied and facing the wall, 2 male officers joked behind me about my gender presentation. Do you think it's female? Are you sure? Okay, and I just want to point out, when they took me, they put me against the wall, and I kept trying to turn around because they had my phone, and I was afraid they were going to break it. And the woman, I'm not joking, Graham, she literally, pretty much just, assaulted me. They were feeling you up and down and stuff like that. It's a very violating, and it's they enjoy that they can do it because you can't say anything, because they can just be like, oh, we're checking for weapons. And, when I was trying to say, I'm with them, I need to stay with them, and they were like, oh, not tonight. And they just laughed and mocked me. And when this person's talking about being mocked by her gender presentation, I 100% believe it. Because that was my experience with them. They were just it's crazy to think that these people have so much power over us, and they're supposed to be looked at as the people that have their community. In order for that to happen, we need to demilitarize the police, defund the police, and then they can go and be the same type of police that people have in France, where they're not carrying military grade weapons, when they are community policing. That's what we need. Nothing less than that is going to work, I think. Yeah. Nothing less than that.
I agree. And they just want to roll in with, Santa Monica police showed up to a peaceful protest with riot gear and automatic weapons, clip in, bunch of ties. They were ready to go. And then they
grabbed their weapons.
Huh?
They're grabbing their weapons.
Yes.
A lot of them, they're ready to
They want some shit to go down. They're waiting for it. They're these roided out thugs, man. And I don't want to, I'm sorry. And I have friends that are cops, and I want to ask them, if you saw partners of yours doing this kind of shit, then I can't say you're a good cop. I'm sorry. There's some good cops. Really? Were there some good guards at the camps in Germany? Were there a couple of them that were good? A couple good Nazis out there? Fuck you, man. You watched this shit happen. You let it happen. You didn't speak up.
Yep.
Because they have this blue veil, this blue wall of secrecy, and there's no civilian oversight. They police themselves. Okay, so is that what we're going to do with the mafia or the drug cartels? When we catch them, let them police themselves? It worked so well when we gave the banks, gave them all that stimulus money, and we let them figure out how they were going to spend it. That's worked out great. We're not on the brink of the worst economic collapse in the history of civilized society at all. Everything's going great. So I'm so glad we haven't regulated the banks.